Hello, longboarding mom. Today is the end of April. It's a beautiful day outside, so I'm up early. I am going to bake a cake. It is my 4-year anniversary with work, and my boss's favorite cake is tres leche cake. And the first time I ever had that cake was at the waterfront restaurant that they had taken us to, my husband and I, for dinner one night. And she said, I have to try this cake, take it home, eat it for dessert when you get home, because we were all stuffed. So I took it home. Oh my gosh, it was amazing. So I made this cake a couple of years ago for our Christmas party, and she absolutely loved it. All of the my coworkers loved it. We have a few Hispanic people that work back in the kitchen, the dishwashers, the cooks and stuff, and they all said I did a great job making it. So I'm going to, I can't find that recipe. Why don't I save them? I thought I did on Pinterest. You know, Pinterest and stuff is supposed to make it easy. It's not so easy because I've got a gazillion recipes on there that I've never even used or looked at. So I'm going to try to start printing the recipes that I like, sending them to my email, and then printing them. So this recipe I found, and it is on, gosh, what is the name of her? Sugar Spun Run. And I got it on my tablet right now. I've got to do it in steps because it's like a spongy cake. So you make the cake, and then you let it cool, and then you add that leche mixture. You know, poke holes and stuff in the cake. You add that leche mixture to it, and you let it sit for a couple hours, and then you put some whipped cream on it, and dust it with some cinnamon. You can put some strawberries on it, a little drizzle of maybe some caramel, whatever you like. So we are going to do this in the steps. This is the first time I tried this one. It actually has butter in the recipe, and I know the other one did not. But the reason why I'm doing this recipe is because I don't have any vitamin D milk, and you can use this at whatever kind of milk you want, but this recipe calls for heavy whipping cream, and I've got that. So we're going to use this recipe. Hopefully it turns out. If not, then I'll go back to the other recipe and do that one, because I think I might have found it. So let's get started on whipping up those egg whites and the sugar and stuff, and I hope this works out, because I usually make box cakes. I don't make homemade cakes, and so this always scares me, and I get anxiety when I do stuff like this, but it always tastes good. I think I have got all my ingredients set up. I got 2 cups of sugar separated, 2 cups of flour here, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix that all together. I've got separate bowls for a lot of stuff because I've got to separate my eggs, my whites from my yolks. So I'm going to put my egg whites in here and my yolks in here. I'm going to take my rings off so they don't get yucky. I've washed my hands really good because this is how I separate my eggs. I'll show you guys in a second. My oven is preheated to 350. So we are going to carefully, I just want some whites in here. I'm going to throw that in the sink. And the yolk, we're going to use all of the egg, but we got to separate it. That's why I said it's kind of a process to make. Spongy cakes are not easy to make, I guess. I mean, they're not bad. It's just a process. And this is not. It's icky. It's an icky job. Don't want to break that yolk, so be really careful. So it's going to be hot today. It was hot the last couple days. I did some gardening. I saved that. No yolk in there. I just threw it in the sink because it busted all up on me. Okay. I'm going to have to grab one more egg out of the refrigerator after I finish this up because I don't want to wash my hands. And so I've planted some thyme because I accidentally killed that over the winter. My rosemary did good. And I planted some dill. One more egg. That one wanted to break on me too. That one broke my hand, but I saved that one. Okay, so we have got our 5 egg whites in this bowl. I'm going to set these aside because we're going to use those in a little bit. Clean up my egg mess here. We're going to add this attachment here. And we're going to start beating these egg whites. On medium heat. Medium. So between 4 and 6, I'd say. And we're going to beat this until it gets foamy, if you can hear me. And then gradually we're going to add 1 cup of that sugar. And we'll add 1 cup, 2 tablespoons at a time, and give it a little break in between to let it mix. And we'll bring the speed up to high so that we could whip it up into stiff peaks. If you've never whipped it up into stiff peaks, hopefully I can show you what that means. Can you see that's getting a little foamy? So we are going to now turn it up to high and start adding sugar, 2 tablespoons at a time, and give it, like it says in, I'm following this recipe, 10 seconds in between. That sugar all mixed in there. Okay, back up to high. Starting to get some peaks on it. Nope, not yet. They need to stay up. When you bring the mixer up and the peak comes up with it, it needs to stick straight up, and that's how you know it's ready. So not quite. Let's do it a little bit longer. Almost. It's thick and glossy. It just needs to get that peak up on there. What do you think, guys? I did one step wrong. When I was adding the sugar, I was supposed to keep it at that gradual speed and then turn it up. So I'm hoping it's going to work right, but I don't know. Let's try just a little bit longer. Okay. That's pretty stiff. I'm going to clean this out. I've got another bowl I'm going to add to this. One lucky thing about having your mixer break on you after 17 years, if you buy the same mixer, you can use the same bowls for that mixer, the new mixer, and have extras. So that's kind of nice. So they want you to, all right, we'll keep this. I don't think that's right, you guys, but we'll try it. We'll keep this over here. I'm gonna add my old bowl to this, some softened butter, and I did this in the microwave. I set it on, still on high, but 30 seconds, and every 10 seconds I took it out and flipped it over and made sure it wasn't too soft, because you don't want to overdo it. So that's why you do it like every 10 seconds, you check it. And we are going to add the sugar, 1 cup to that, with our, excuse the mess, noise. It's my baking jar, all my good stuff's in there. So we're going to add the paddle attachment, and we are going to cream the butter together with your sugar. That's creamed together. We are going to try to add one of those egg yolks at a time and mix them up. So let's try to get one of those yolks out of there. How's that? That wasn't bad. Oh, now they want to break on me. So let's just add what we can. And to this creamy, sugary mixture, we are going to add 1.5 teaspoons of vanilla. This is vanilla paste that my sister made. And it's just, you use exactly the same amount that you would the vanilla extract. It's Indonesian vanilla bean paste. She is amazing. I've got some vanilla bean bourbon or bourbon vanilla up there as well. I think I've showed you guys once before what it looks like. It's a paste. So 1. And it's gonna give it little flakes of vanilla in it. So it's gonna make it look a little pretty too. I'm gonna use just a little bit of vanilla extract that I got from Mexico in the topping. Let's do. That's 1/4. I grabbed out the wrong one. 1 more. There we go. I got vanilla everywhere. Make sure I get all that together. Look at that. I don't know if you can see the little flakes of vanilla in it, but that looks beautiful. Let me finish mixing up all this stuff on the side. And we are going to add that flour mixture over there. Okay. Okay, so this is what, I got vanilla on the top, what that egg, sugar, and butter looks like. We are going to add, I forgot to grab out that milk. So this recipe actually just says milk. So I'm going to use my 2% milk for it. And you're going to alternate adding the flour and the milk to that. I'm going to put a little cup there. I don't need that anymore. I'll be right back with 1 cup of milk. Let's put that down. I'm going to add 1/4 cup, a little bit more. Get that out of there. Let's turn it on and add just a little bit of milk. A little more flour. Oh, I think this process, see, and then I read it and I forget. So this process here, I think it seems like I do this by hand because we're going to fold in that egg white soon too. So let's do this differently. Even though I turned it on a low speed. Do you ever read a recipe and read the whole recipe and then you think you got it? And you mess up because you mix the stuff up that you're supposed to be doing? That's me. I'm the one that throws away the box and has to look at the box 5 times after I threw it away. Okay, so I'm going to mix this around. I'm going to add some more flour. Mix, add some milk. I liked my paddle one better. See, and these steps, I don't remember making the cake like this. I think it's the extra butter that you add to it. But there was a reason why she said she added the butter. I read her little story, and it just made it better, she said. She tried different recipes, and this is the one she liked. So that's why I really wanted to try it. I don't know. I can't remember now what I said earlier. Did I tell you that I got my house down to 62 degrees? That's really cold for me. I didn't even feel it. And the reason why I did that is so I can bake, because it's going to be hot today. It's already warming up. I think it's gone up to like 63 already, maybe 64. So I got to get this in the oven fast so that I can get it opened up again and get that temperature down. Although I am enjoying this warm weather because it's going to go right back into rain again, and April has been so cold. We've had so much snow this April. We usually get a little bit of spring snow, but not the whole month. No, it wasn't the whole month. I can't complain. It was a lot more than normal. I have got my pan over here. I've already sprayed it with oil. Before you do that, before you spray it, this one says to spray with baking oil stuff. I don't have any, so I use my coconut oil. But before you do make cakes, take wax paper and put it underneath your pan and outline it and cut it out the size of the bottom of your pan, so your cake releases a lot easier. The wax paper just peels right off the bottom. And another thing, when you're making like wedding cakes and stuff like that, you don't want oil and grease on the sides and top of your cake and stuff, because it makes it harder to frost the cake. It just wants to slide right off of it. So I usually just use a little bit of light Crisco and do my whole sides of the cakes and the bottom of the cake and stuff with the wax paper, and it works just fine. But they recommend not using the spray stuff when you're doing wedding cakes. Not sure why, but I just follow that rule. And dump the rest of that in there. My pile of dishes is piling up. I'll do those as soon as I put this in the oven. Wow, this is looking really good. So we're going to get this stirred in, and then we are going to start adding my egg whites. They're not what I think. I don't know. It's supposed to be fluffier, I think, than that. So we might be making another cake, you guys. Just depends on how this one turns out. Okay. I think that's all mixed in. See those pretty flakes of vanilla? Yum. My sister's so amazing. She does all kinds of canning. She canned pineapple jelly the other day. She's canning beans right now. So the dry beans she had in her cupboard, she's like, they're not going to cook in SHTF that fast, so I'm going to cook them now and can them. And so she's got black beans and navy beans and pinto beans, and she's just having a blast doing her canning. Yeah. So I don't think this is meringue enough. But we are going to try it. I think I deflated it. As I was reading the recipe just a little bit ago, it says add it to here. I'm going to take this off the stand. I'm not using that anymore. It says to gently fold in the egg white to your mixture and mix it around gently as to not to deflate your meringue. Well, I think my meringue is already deflated, but let's try it anyway. I've already got it all mixed together. Don't want to waste the ingredients because, eggs aren't cheap. Everything's going up again. That does look pretty though. If I make it again, I know what step I messed up on, right? Okay. Dirty dishes into the sink. Let's fold this in as gently as we can. It says not to have any egg white showing when we're done, but you don't want to over mix it. And this is where last time I was so afraid to mix it. My sister also makes macaroon cookies, which those are not easy to make. It's like this meringue stuff that you do. And then you put it on a pan. You got to bake them just right. She actually has people ordering them from her. And she makes scones. And gosh, she needs to open her own little bakery. If her and I lived closer together, we would have our own bakery. But then we wouldn't have fun baking and doing fun stuff. That's why I never I was going to start a baking business 20 years ago when I met my husband. He's like, you should really be baking and doing this and stuff. And then I was like, but then I wouldn't like doing it. It wouldn't be fun. But who knows, once you find your passion and what you like, it could be fun, right? I mean, I like my job now. But there are some days that I hate my job. I don't know, you guys. This isn't looking right. Let me get to the bottom. It's not incorporating. I want to get all that white mixed in because it feels like it's gotten fluffier. Oh, see, there we go. I got to get to the bottom and get the rest of that cake. But it feels like it's getting fluffier. Yeah, 4 years. We've had our ups and downs at work. When I first started, I was only supposed to be part-time because I was going to be taking care of my in-laws and stuff. But that didn't really work out. So we live near them so we can still help them, but we're not living with them anymore. And I was also taking care of my grandma every other week. I was driving to Portland, Vancouver, Washington, to help take care of her. And that was a 3.5 hour drive. And I'd stay there for a week and take care of her and come home and then go to work and take care of my house here and stuff. And after my grandma passed away, it's just been work. I've gone up to visit my family a few times, but it's not easy. Okay, I think I don't see a lot of white. So we are going to put it in that cake pan and bake it in the oven. It's 350 preheated. We're going to bake it for 35 to 40 minutes. So let's pour this out. Oh, you guys, I'm scared. I love baking, but it's scary if it doesn't turn out right. Remember back in the day when you're baking cakes and you yell at your kids, don't run in the house because your cake's gonna fall? That's what I'm worried about, because the first time I made this, I actually made 2 cakes. First one, it kind of fell in the middle. It was all poofy and beautiful, and then it just went poof and gone. I was like, what happened to my cake? So I don't know if it's because we were running in the house or if I just didn't make it right. Look at all these dishes. Kind of so flatten it out so it's even. See all those flakes of vanilla? Ooh, yummy. Okay, wish me luck, you guys. 35 to 40 minutes. We'll check it here in a little bit. Okay, it has been 35 minutes. We are going to open this oven up and check our cake. I have a flashlight because I don't have an oven light, you guys. Oh, wow. Look at that. Okay, I'm going to close it. I'm going to grab a toothpick. I should have had my toothpick ready, huh? Okay. Let's check that cake. I'm going to carefully pull it out because we don't want it to fall, right? Stab that in there. I'm going to give it a couple more minutes. It will bake a little bit longer on the outside, but you want it done. You don't want to see any of that on your toothpick. I don't know if you can see it. Hold on. Nope, that didn't help. Okay, there's stuff on it. There. See that little thing in there? There's food on it still. So a couple more minutes. Okay, you guys, all my lights are off in the house right now. I'm going to turn off the oven. It is now 63.5 degrees in my apartment. I'm going to get it cooled down, hopefully, so that we don't die in the afternoon. It gets so hot here. Let's hope that this cake doesn't fall, and 2, tastes good. So we'll come back later after it's cooled, and we'll cut it. I'm going to cut it, like, give most of it away. I'm going to keep a little bit and give most of it away. I've got a container to put this in. Then we're going to poke little holes in it and pour that leche mixture all over it. While this is cooling, I'm going to take my son to work. He's going to drive. And then I'm going to make that leche mixture when we get back and pour it all on top of it. And then it's got to sit in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. I don't have the patience to wait that long. So I've got to find something to do while it's in that refrigerator. Maybe do a workout so I can eat the cake after, right? That's why we work out, so we can eat cake. For the leche mixture, I need 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I had my son drive to work. He had to go to work today, so he drove himself to work today. And he had to drive out onto the highway. He did very good. I do have to take him out driving a little more, though, so he gets less nervous. So 1/2 cup of that. I've got evaporated milk. It's 12 ounces and 14 ounces of sweetened condensed milk. So we are going to, I've already shaken it really good. Just open these up and dump them in. This is going to be a lot of milk. And we are not going to dump all of this milk onto this cake. And see, it fell a little bit, but not too bad. The recipe said not to dump the cake, like flip it over. I always flip my cakes over. This says not to flip it over because you're supposed to just poke it in here and do it in here. But like I said, I'm sharing it with my boss. So I have a container that I'm going to put it in for them. All that gooey stuff. This is leche. Sweetened condensed milk is the leche. And you can be right back, phone. Stupid people. It wasn't people. It was a telemarketer. We'd like to save money on your home car insurance. Oh, sorry. Oh, did I say that? the phone numbers are always like local numbers and stuff. Sometimes they're somewhere else in the state or whatever. But well, there's that sugar all at the bottom. You need to get it all out. But if it's local, I always ask them if they like to like have lunch somewhere. They usually hang up on me. So I've never had Leche sweetened condensed milk do this before. It's fine. It's just the sugar is all at the bottom. I didn't shake. I don't know if you're supposed to shake this or not. I did not. But I am going to mix it really, really well. Mix all of this up really, 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 really good. And we're going to separate these cakes. And we're going to pour part of this mixture on. You pour it on really, really slow after you poke a whole bunch of holes in it. Pour it on really, really, really slow so it has time to soak into the cake. Like I said, you don't use the whole mixture. You can save some of it for later to serve with your cake. Oh yeah, that sugar's stirring up quite nicely in there. Yum. I gotta add just a little bit of vanilla to this. I'm gonna add a half a teaspoon of my clear vanilla. Oh, still in the dish drain from earlier. Half a teaspoon. It smells so good. Okay. We're just going to keep this out because we're going to use that half a teaspoon again to put in our whipped cream for later. Actually, it's going to be a couple hours from now. So what am I going to do to pass that time away? A couple hours before I get to try this cake. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to show you guys how I flip a cake over. I have this here. I'm going to get my little, where my cake spatulas, and we are going to make sure it is loose from the sides because it is a little stuck in some spots. You don't want to flip it over and it break on you because it's stuck to the side of the pan. I don't know if I made this cake right, you guys. I'm nervous. Okay. And then I put some wax paper on it so it doesn't stick. And some of the cookie sheets fit just fine. This one does not. But you just flip it over like that. And I'm going to drop it down because it's not coming off. Normally that paper, like I told you, it will just come right off. So sometimes you need to give it a little bit of, there you go. There you go. Okay. It's stuck just a little bit on the side there. Oh, I love trying the side. That's good. We're going to peel that wax paper off. I'm going to set that right there. And this is the container I have for my boss. I washed it. I got to dry it out the rest of the way. So I'm going to dry that out. We're going to cut this and put it inside there, poke some holes in it, and add that milk to it. Okay, let's cut this. I'm going to cut it about here. Wait. That's not too big. I'm going to show what the inside of that cake looks like. That's going to be mine. I'm going to put it over here. All right, the pan didn't fit. Oh, let's hope that fits. Oh, perfect size. Nice. Okay. So that is for my boss. I got to find a pan or something. I've got a container, but that might fit. Okay, that's perfect. So it says you can use a fork or shish kebab skewer, and the only ones I have a point at the end. It's not a sharp point like the fork is, so I'm going to use the fork instead because the wooden ones just go to a point. These ones sometimes have little, I don't know what you would call it, but it helps your food stay on better. So I'm going to set that aside. We're going to poke a whole bunch of holes in this cake and the other one. So I'm thinking I like this butter recipe one because it feels nice. The other one kind of fell on me almost both times I made it. This is going to soak up that leche really good. And after it sits in the refrigerator and soaks in, we will make some whipped cream. And the whipped cream icing she has for her recipe, it basically is just your powdered sugar, heavy whipping cream, and some vanilla. But I'm going to add a little stabilizer to make it so the whipped cream doesn't start to, after a while, whipped cream falls apart and it gets liquidy and wet and stuff. And this is already a wet cake, and not wet, but it's moist. And you don't want it to be wet. So if you make the whipped cream right, it will not fall apart and it will actually look like an icing. And it will stay good for a couple days. I taught my work how to do that because we make really good crepes at work. And by the end of the day, the whipped cream was just liquid, and they put it on the plate and it looked all pretty, and then it just melt. And I was like, I know there's a way we can do it, because we used to make cakes all the time at my bakery, and we would use whipped cream icing. And it wasn't whipped cream icing, it was whipped topping. And it stayed, you decorated it and airbrushed on it and stuff with color and stuff. It would bleed a little bit, sometimes a lot. So we didn't recommend doing designs and stuff on it, but if they paid for it, we did it. So anyway, I knew there was a way that we could do it, and I had been years since I had made it, so I kind of forgot how. So I just looked it up on Google. There it is. Okay, I got lots of holes in the cake. Let's dump some of this on these cakes, and then we will cover them up and put them in the refrigerator for a couple of hours. And in the meantime, I gotta find something to do. What am I gonna do? You want to get the edges too, so they the edges have that nice yummy liquid in it. See it soaking in there. Yum. Whoops. And you keep pouring it on and it will kind of stop soaking in. And that's when you know you don't want to put any more on. And just let it sit. You can always add a little bit more later. Like I said, you can always save the mixture, and then if it's kind of not wet enough, you kind of like coffee. It's coffee. You can use it as coffee creamer. Dip your a little bit more cake in it when you're spooning it or forking it. I'm gonna get the edges. It's not easy to get the edges because you don't want it to soak on that edge. Get too much on the edges there. Yum. This is tres leche cake. Oh. See, it's not soaking in as much, as not soaking in that fast. So I think we're good on. We're gonna save the rest of this for later. I'm gonna cover these up and put them in. Wait, I want to jump a little bit more right here. That vanilla. Yeah. It's kind of, you can see some on the bottom there. So once it does that, it means, oh, you can feel the heaviness of it as well. Okay. Put these in the refrigerator. In a couple hours, we'll come back and ice these up, and I get to try a bite. Oh, it's gonna be so long.
Meanwhile.
Let's mix some whipped cream. My bowl has been in the refrigerator to cool it down. This is some gelatin mixture. I've had it 3 tablespoons of water with the Jello, this stuff here, and for 5 minutes. We're gonna put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds to loosen it back up. But before I do that, I'm gonna add my attachment to it, and we are going to add 2 cups of whipping cream on low speed, and the powdered sugar and the vanilla. So we are going to start with the 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. I'm just gonna lift that up, pour that right in. Make sure we get it all out. And we're gonna turn it on a low speed, and we are going to start whipping it up and gradually adding the sugar to it. We will add the 1 teaspoon. This recipe calls for 1 teaspoon of vanilla. I might just use like a half a teaspoon. And that is 1/2 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to turn, while I'm doing this, I'm going to turn the microwave on for 10 seconds to get that loose. mixed in. Add the rest of that sugar. That's why you're supposed to turn it off. Okay, turn it off first, longboarding mom, and spin. Clean off all that sugar on the sides. Make sure you get the bottom really good. Okay, now we can turn it back on. Let's add that vanilla to it. And once I get that vanilla added, we can turn it up higher speed and get some peaks started. Okay, let's do the 1 teaspoon one. So while I was waiting for this, I did my workout today. I talked on the phone. I had to take a shower because my workout made me yucky. But it's my first workout in a long time, so I'm very proud of myself. I made it all the way to the end. I had to do a little bit of cat exercise, which on the 21-day fix, cat is the easy one and autumn is the killer. So I used to be able to do autumn, the killer, plus more, and now I'm doing cat, which is okay. Let's start easy. Day 1, we'll do 21 days and we'll see how I'm feeling after that, right? Okay, let's turn this up. It says we need soft peaks, and when we get the soft peaks, we can add this jello to it. Turn it back down, add the jello to it slowly, and then we can turn it back up again to get stiff peaks. The stiff peaks that we needed for the cake. But I think that cake turned out, so we're okay. We'll try it in a little bit. Turn it up. Those are soft peaks. Okay, I'm going to turn it on low, and we are going to let this just kind of mix in slowly. This is going to help stabilize it so it will not melt on top of my cake, and I can take it to work tomorrow, and there'll still be whipped cream on it and not milk on it. Okay, let's get that mixed in a little bit, and then we'll turn it back up to high and make some whipped cream. I can't wait. I've been waiting all day for this cake. If you whip it too long, you make butter. Let's see. Look at that. If I could frost the side of a bowl, I think I can frost the side of my cake. And this recipe, you should be able to make like roses and stuff like that. If you put it in the refrigerator, it'll get a little bit stiffer, which that'll help. I'm gonna just do a little bit longer. But if you put it in the refrigerator, you need to let it rest for a little bit so it can be easy to work with again. Okay, so let's get that cake and frost it and try a bite, right? Okay, well, I'm gonna move that out of the way. Okay, there is my boss's cake. There is my cake. You can see the leche is soaked in quite nicely. I can't wait to try this. Swap it on there. This is not supposed to be like, I mean, you can decorate it if you want to and make it pretty. I've seen where they've made a double layer cake and put the whipped cream in the middle and kind of ice the outside as a, what would you say, like the see-through cake. Just try to get a little bit on the sides. It's not easy to ice a cake that's inside something either. You can't get it flat and smooth like you want it. Use a scraper, and that kind of helps get it flat, but you don't want to scrape it off too much. And I actually have a painter's scraper that I use. One day I might show you what it looks like. We'll sprinkle some cinnamon on that. I'm gonna ice mine up, sprinkle some cinnamon on mine, and then we're gonna take a slice out of it and try it. Ooh, 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 I can't wait. I can't wait. This isn't easy to ice. It's so funny. Look at that. Yum, yum, yum. Yes, I had a very productive day. I only have one day off this week, so I didn't do a heck of a lot at the house, but I will do stuff after work the next couple days instead. So I've got a big party at work tomorrow I've got to take care of, so didn't want to be too exhausted going back to work after one day off. And then tonight I'm going to make nachos for dinner. I figured I might as well do since I'm going to post this on Cinco de Mayo, I might as well eat some nachos to go with my meal. So, and I've got lots of leftover whipped cream. I don't know what I'm going to do with. I might have to get some strawberries. Ooh, strawberries would be really good with it, right? I have this huge cinnamon container, and I don't want to put too much cinnamon out, so just like I did, since I already did, I'm just gonna go with it now. That didn't work very well, did it? Dust some over here. That's kind of what I wanted to do, was like dust it like that. There we go. Okay, beautiful. I might try to put a 4 or something on that for 4 years, right? Okay, let's get a little slice out of that so we can try it. I don't think this is going to work for that cake. Let's try just taking it out like this. That's what it looks like. Let's try a bite. I'm usually an edge person. I like the crusty part. So when I make a cake, I always cut all the crust off of it, so it's no burnt spots. That's not burnt, but so the cake is even all the way through, and I always eat that part. But I left it on because that helps hold in all those juices and stuff, right? So Mmm. Hmm. Okay, so that piece was the edge. Let's try the spongy part. Mmm. Now, I think it needs just a little bit more leche, but no. That middle bite, that was good. That is the exact way it's supposed to be. I hope my boss enjoys it tomorrow. Oh, yum. Thank you all for watching. Have a nice day.